Добро пожаловать на канал о жизни и иммиграции в Ирландию. Меня зовут Анжелика. Это часть вторая моего интервью с Гэри, представителем медицинского факультета Университета Корка.
What's the requirement for professional qualification in Ireland? So all you need is to study 4 or 5 years in medical school. Then you need 1 year internship. Who takes care of the internship? Who finds it?
So that's a very good question. So unfortunately, when it comes to placement on internships, that is outside of our control. So that is managed by the Health Service Executive of Ireland, the HSE. It's a competitive process. Students ask me, am I guaranteed an internship when I finish medicine at UCC? And I have to be honest and say, no, you're not. But I'm sure that's the same for every country.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you finish with very good grades, if you are in a high top percentile in the class, you have a very good chance to get a match or to get placement. But as it stands, it's not guaranteed.
How likely are Irish hospitals to grant an internship for international students?
Well, so we have within Ireland, we have various hospital networks. So for example, University College Cork would be part of the Southern Hospital Network. So that would take in all of the hospitals in the southern part of the country. One of the largest being here in Cork City, which is the Cork University Hospital, which incidentally is the largest health campus in all of the country. But we have a number of smaller regional hospitals. For example, we have a hospital called Bantry Hospital, which is about just over 1 hour's drive here from the city. So students may not get their first preference of hospital, but we will endeavour and try our best to make a match maybe with one of the regional hospitals for them. So we have about 12 or 13 hospitals in that network.
That makes sense. What happens to other students? Like we talked about medicine, now let's talk about nursery and midwifery, because one of the things is that the Department of Trade has a list of critically skilled occupations, and among those occupations, nursery and midwifery are very popular, and they stayed on the list for years and years.
Sure.
So when I talk to my clients, for example, to the students who want to study, I tell them, look, like, what are your pathway? What are you passionate about? And what are my options? So this is one of the things they look at as well. Yeah. Tell me more about nursery and midwifery path.
Yeah, so nursing is a little trickier. So we have a 4-year full degree in nursing and midwifery. And I think from the start, I should say there aren't places available on this program for international students.
Okay.
Again, it has to do with clinical placement, which is not managed by the university. It's managed by the Nursing and Midwifery Board and the Health Service Executive. And there are a very small number of clinical placements available. So currently, we have 2 options available for international students. One of them is called the Nursing Studies degree. And this is a 1-year top-up program. So for example, this is aimed at students overseas who trained as nurses maybe to diploma level, but they don't have their Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Then this can bridge the gap to bring them from diploma level to degree level.
Okay.
Now, in order for these students to come onto this program, they need to have an active registration as a nurse in their home country. And they need to have 2 years clinical experience.
Okay.
So if a nurse graduated with a diploma 2 years ago and has been working in a hospital since then, after they graduated, they would be eligible to apply for this. We also have students who already have a bachelor degree in nursing come onto this program, because I guess it will assist them in knowing about the Irish healthcare system.
Absolutely.
And many of them will subsequently go on to register with the Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland or with the Nursing Board in the UK and go to work in the NHS.
Okay, so this program allows you to register with those 2 boards?
we don't guarantee registration, but certainly I have seen in my experience that if you do this 1 year top up, of course it's very advantageous in terms of subsequent applications to work on these boards. So a lot of students who do the 1 year top up degree in nursing almost use it as a stepping stone to coming into working as nurses in Ireland or the UK, or indeed anywhere in Europe.
Exactly.
Because again, it's recognised throughout Europe. And our School of Medicine, certainly in 2017, 2018, was ranked in the top 50 nursing schools in the world.
This says a lot.
Yeah. So I think now it may be somewhere about number 70 or something like that. But no, we rank very, very favourably. The quality of the programmes are very, very strong. Again, I think it's just an awareness and a brand recognition that maybe is not there. Nursing, there is a huge shortage of nurses in Ireland.
I think there is still.
Yeah, so that there are many opportunities for students to take this pathway, as I said, as a stepping stone into work here in Ireland or the United Kingdom. So that's the 1 year nursing studies degree. We also have a 1 year master's degree, non-clinical. So that means it is purely theory, so they won't be on the wards. So it's expected that students coming onto this master's program will have some clinical experience already. It's not essential, but it's preferred. And again, to come onto this 1 year master's program, nurses should have active registration at the time of application. A lot of the students who come here to study the nursing studies degree will remain and continue to do the master's degree.
What's the like? Who are those students who continue? Do they need another stepping stone into registration, or?
No, I think they just obviously, going into the nursing profession with a master's degree will give you better salary opportunities and certainly more senior positions within the hospital. So I guess it's a case of climbing the ladder more quickly than if they had chosen to go immediately into nursing after the bachelor's degree. So these additional qualifications will have salary implications, favourable salary implications.
It's a weird question, but people keep asking me, are there any age restrictions?
That's a good question. No, I think certainly UCC in general is very mature student friendly. So if we're talking about the upper end, there was no age restriction. In fact, I think we had a lady that graduated from a business subject last year and she was 87 years old.
This is wonderful.
Yeah. In terms of minimum age, yes, we do have a policy. So the minimum age is, so typically we have 2 semesters, but only 1 enrollment date at UCC, and that's for all programs. And the start date is September. So for example, if a student is starting in September 2019, the expectation is, as per a minimum age, they need to be 17 by the 15th of January of 2020. So they can feasibly start at the age of 16, but in September, but by 15th of January of the next year, they need to be hitting the age of 17. In exceptional circumstances, we may allow some leverage there, but the student will need to get guardianship, and they will need to get a letter of guardianship from the president in order to sanction that, yes, we take this student into our care and we are officially signing this letter of guardianship. But that would be the exception. It's preferred if the student is 17 or even 18.
I suppose the question more for mature people, because most of the customers, most of my database, for example, would have bachelor degree in some science or in humanitarian studies. And they're looking towards where to go from here. And many are worried that when they're 40, when they're 30, there isn't a place for them.
There isn't any of that discrimination, no. And I think, as I said, I know, I haven't checked the data recently, but I know up to a couple of years ago, UCC had the highest proportion of mature students among the student body of any university in Ireland.
So if you do start a degree here, you probably won't be the only 40-year-old person studying medicine.
No, you usually see the mature students sitting up at the front of every lecture. And you can join your people there.
Are qualifications obtained in Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, and other non-EU countries valid in Ireland?
Yes, so I spoke about the high school certificates, and
Yeah.
currently they're not for direct entry. For students who have already have a degree and are looking to pursue a master's degree or a PhD or something like that, yes, they are. UCC uses a system known as the NARIC system, NARIC, and this is an equivalency database. So, for example, if you are presenting with a bachelor's degree from a university in Russia, this will be on the list, and we will see where this result compares to a UCC result. And so, yes, they are accepted, but in some instances, if the university is less well regarded, they may expect you to get a higher grade than maybe a better university in Russia.
Suppose, yeah.
So
That makes sense.
so they are accepted, but we use this database to make that equivalency comparison.
And usually, I suppose the student has to be from the same area, so I can't study, I don't know, English language and Spanish language at the university level as a bachelor and then go into medicine. Or are you accepted students studying various type of degrees?
Well, for medicine we do. So for the graduate entry medicine, we accept any background currently. A lot of medical schools will only accept students who have a science degree. We don't currently have that. So, for example, I spoke with the former dean of medicine here at UCC, and she remembers one of the best students to ever go through the graduate entry medicine program had a degree in music. So now, you know, clearly this student had an interest in science also, because doing a medicine degree isn't going to be enough, because, for example, for graduate entry medicine, you need to do an exam called the GAMSAT, GAMSAT, and the GAMSAT will test your aptitude for science, and it will test you in a number of areas. So,
is it only for this specific?
Yes, the GAMSAT is only for the graduate entry medicine. Oh no, it's for all. It's for all students applying for graduate entry.
Yeah, for
medicine.
this particular program.
Yes.
4-year-old, the 4-year.
The four-year program. Yes, only this one. For the 5-year program.
Where can you take this exam? Is it online, only in Cork?
You will need to. There are various GAMSAT testing centres all around the world.
Okay.
So you will need to go. It's like the IELTS test, where you will need to present at a centre to do this test.
And how often is it taken?
you would need to check as per the country and the city. If you go to GAMSAT, the website, you will find all of the information there. For the 5-year program, EU and Irish students need to do an aptitude test, which is called the HPAT, HPAT, the Health Professionals Aptitude Test, the dreaded HPAT, I should say. However, I think the good news is for international students, it's not necessary. For international students, in lieu of the HPAT, we do a face-to-face interview.
Okay, yeah.
So
sometimes this is more terrifying.
it depends. You find that students who have an aptitude for medicine anyway would prefer to do the interview than to do the HPAT, because the HPAT, although you're not supposed to prepare for it because it's an aptitude test, of course, students can't help but do mock exams and, you know, study some tips and techniques and tricks to try to do well in the exam. And this takes away from their valuable studying time for their core subjects in high school. So the fact that they don't have to do this is, in many instances, a welcome relief.
I get that. Too many exams. People ask me a lot about scholarship and grants.
Yeah.
So are they any available for the medical students?
So the short answer, the School of Medicine and the School of Dentistry don't really have any scholarships. The demand is simply too high, and they get great students anyway. There may be some exceptional general scholarships based on students who have a background in entrepreneurship or who are extremely academically gifted or who have done some very valuable work for humanity and societal work. And there are a small number of these available for all subjects at UCC. We call them the Quercus scholarships, QUERCUS. But in terms of there being dedicated medicine and dentistry scholarships, There may be a small bursary given on the fees, a small discount of, perhaps about 10%, 12%, but really there aren't any significant scholarships. However, in nursing, we do have scholarships in both the masters and the top-up. So, and a lot of that it's merit-based, so depending on your English language level and your academic results, but also based on how early you apply. So if you apply early, you will get up to 35%.
Oh, that's cool.
Which then goes to 25%, which goes to 20%, which goes to 15%. Pharmacy does have a number of merit scholarships worth about 25% of the fees. So for example, where pharmacy fees are 20,000 euros per year, if you were presenting again with a good CV, with some good references, a good personal statement, there are a number of 25% scholarships available, and that will be for all years of the program. Certainly, a medicine degree from UCC, indeed anywhere in Ireland, is extremely well regarded and is extremely, easily transferable across the world. So it's recognised. I've had meetings with various medical councils from various countries, and I have yet to hear any negative feedback about graduates coming out of Irish medical schools. We're all government-run universities, so all of our programs are very well, are conducted to a very high standard. We don't have any private universities in Ireland, and I think that's something, not to knock private universities, but the quality may not always be, or education may not always be the first priority of these organisations.
Absolutely. Tell me a bit about the campus. Where do students study? What type of facilities do they have?
So medicine, obviously we have a large but kind of contained campus very close to the city centre here in Cork City, which I think is very useful for people. I meet students from some of the largest cities in the world, from very, very large Asian cities, and for them normal is a 2-hour commute to work or a 2-hour commute to university every day. This is not the case in Cork.
Absolutely.
You win back hours in your day, so therefore your work-life balance can be very good. A lot of our medicine and health programs are contained in one part of the campus called Brookfield, and we have our Brookfield Health Sciences Complex, and next to that we have our Brookfield Accommodation Village, and a lot of this is reserved for students coming to study medicine or other health sciences programs. So conceivably, you can leave your apartment or your house in Brookfield Village at 3 minutes to 9 in the morning and be sitting comfortably in your lecture on time at 1 minute to 9. And again,
this is very nice.
Just think about the extra sleep that affords you, but also the extra time in your day. And that's
so important, especially for the medical students.
Absolutely, where a lot of their time is required. So as a result, they do have some free time to engage in hobbies and activities, and we really encourage our students to try and find that balance. We have hundreds of clubs and societies here at UCC, and we really encourage students not to join too many, but if you enjoy swimming, join the swimming club. If you like motorbikes, join the motorcycle club. If you enjoy debating, join the debating or the philosophical society or the environmental society, or of course the medicine society, and they do great work. In fact, the students themselves have something called the Surgeon Noonan Club, and every summer they will organise to go on some charity and outreach program. For example, they may go to a rural part, in a poorer part of Africa, and they will assist in clinics there, or they will, help with the building of a new medical centre.
That's student run.
And that's student led by the students. which is great because it builds their professional development and their sense of confidence in who they are. And of course they will go out and do a lot of fundraising in order to do this. So they will do something like a 24-hour bed push around the city or something like this, or they will have, you know, trivia nights, or they will do cake sales. And so they're very active, and yes, and I really think it helps to give a student a sense of purpose.
Absolutely.
And a sense of importance in the value of what they're doing, not just in the classroom all of the time.
That's great. Thank you so much, Gary, for the interview.
No
I
problem.
really enjoyed it. I'm thinking, should I study medicine now?
That's
Quit
great.
all this entrepreneurship thing.
No.
Just go be a doctor.
So, very happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.